And Counter-Strike doesn't seem to stop here as we're here for the Intel Extreme Masters Chicago North American Qualifier. I'm Jason Kappen, and the sun and the snack to my left, you're right, is going to be Tom Biz joining me once. I mean, you're basically my son.
Yeah, you know, we look alike, the same height, you know.
Same hairstyle.
Yeah, same build.
Oh, you didn't spike your hair today. I'm a little disappointed. You let it go down.
It's too warm, like the gel just runs out of it.
It is very warm here in Cologne. Lucky for us,
room.
we're in a nice little studio with air conditioning. The one place in Germany where it exists, luckily.
Yeah, not my hotel room.
Not in the trains, which is a clear 40 degrees. That was a fun, sweaty affair, which I think my shirt is still drying out at the moment.
I've had 2 cold showers today just because it was
That
necessary.
wasn't for the heat, though.
Yeah, no, I just need it.
Anyways, so we're here for the North American qualifiers for Chicago for Intel Extreme Masters, and we have to take a look at the bracket because it's an interesting one. It's something we don't really know how to fully explain to you because of news that is still coming in.
You're going to explain it, right?
I can try to explain it, as you're going to see here on your screen. We technically already have some results through, not because matches have been played, but because teams have dropped out. So the first of all, Onagio did actually forfeit their game, so Complexity will move through into the semifinals already off the bat. On the other side, Luminosity has also forfeited their game, so Ghost Gaming has moved through into the semifinals. Credit to Wardell, one player on the roster, and the only player on the roster. He's been able to get them through from the quarters into the semis. Can he do it into the finals? Most likely not, because I don't think they're going to be allowed to play either, which means if you look at this, we have Complexity in the semis, and then we have the winner of New Identity and Lazarus, who ideally should be getting straight through to the finals off this one match. And then, of course, the match we're going to be covering on stream for you will be ATK up against Team Envy. So that should be one of the best quarterfinals, though it's a 50-50 chance we're right on that, Tom.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's quite interesting is we don't actually know if Ghost are going to field a roster yet. And because, especially because they get a little bit of extra time because Luminosity have actually forfeit. We know that they changed players yesterday, so I believe that they could have had a go with Phelps. And I'm actually quite surprised they didn't, in all honesty, because I think adding Phelps in, play some free roam Counter-Strike, I think that if him and Henny have a good game, they could have quite easily just pugged their way through, but they decided, we're just going to practice as a team, get ready for some other stuff, and then focus on other things later on. I believe it's probably quite a big hit. Saw a lot of emotional posts coming out from Henny and Lucas, because I think it was something ridiculous, they've been playing Counter-Strike together for 14 years, and this will be the first time that they're not together anymore.
Okay, so I just got some information there. I'm sorry, I did not hear anything you just said there. I couldn't even understand what you were saying because it was so loud and it was very German. So hopefully they can fill out the bracket because I'm hearing there's going to be 2 teams coming in instead now for those other teams.
So will we get a new bracket?
So you know what?
We can
I
get
didn't understand what they said.
out.
I did not hear. I did not hear a word they said. So if they want to fill the bracket out and update it for us and then show it on screen, so we all have an idea of all the teams playing, that would be fantastic. But I believe Complexity will now have to play a team in the quarterfinals, and then I believe Ghost was replaced for the semis. But by what teams, I don't know.
That's something.
Again, very German, even though it was an English word. No, I could not hear.
You're just rude, basically.
I was distracted by your beautiful voice.
But yeah, so we've been talking about the twins. That's what I was talking about at least. But
let's turn him down. He's so loud.
This is the best start we think we've ever had to a broadcast, isn't it? we don't know who's playing. You can't hear what's going on.
We don't even know if the rosters we're seeing at the moment are actually the rosters playing because JDM is set to play for ATK.
Well, yeah,
is that actually happening?
Well, that was the interesting thing because you said to me about half an hour ago, it's like, yeah, it'll be interesting to see JDM play against our team. And I was like, what are you talking about? And that's because when I looked 4 hours ago, they had Tens playing listed as in their roster because he's been standing in for the South African side recently. And I was actually looking forward to seeing him because he's one of the people sort of tainted to be one of the next up-and-comers, even linked with Cloud9, an 18-year-old. No.
I was going to say.
Tens.
Oh, okay. Because JDM's been around for a while.
Yeah, I know who JDM is, surprisingly. I don't know too much about Tens. But I was looking forward to seeing him play, and it doesn't look like it's going to be happening now. So, yeah, definitely going to be interested to see. I don't know why we've gone on to my solo account.
I just love it because you could read Chicago above you, but behind me, you just see my...
Chick.
Yep. Chick 019. Yeah, so obviously we'll get things updated and hopefully be able to see the bracket when we can to know about the 2 new teams coming through. But we should obviously take a look at what's at stake here. 1 slot comes out of this qualifier into the main event. And for some of these teams, it's basically right around the corner for them. No long distance travel. You don't have to come to Europe, like a week early to get, fight off jet lag, to boot camp. And also play in front of a hometown crowd, an NA team with an NA crowd. We saw what it did for G2 in Montpellier for the ESL Pro League Finals. That was a sick best of 5. The Inferno match, I really wish Twist didn't clutch out in normal time to throw into overtime. I really wanted to see the 5th and final
I'm
map.
sure if the American fans are watching, they're probably not too happy with that. But it was a spectacle, that's for sure. And it was an enjoyable final. I do think this event also has some good opportunities for, say, lesser teams as well. Because, obviously you've got the likes of Complexity who have already got a spot in, I believe it's the main qualifier for the major, so they don't have to play in the minors. But a lot of the reason we're seeing teams drop out is because if they get through, they can't play because Chicago directly clashes with the minors. So
but I feel like why not play both? And then if you do get through to the minor, minor, but like, all right, we can't play anymore.
That's what's happened already. That's what I mean.
No,
they are
teams dropped out of the Chicago qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean like they've already qualified for the minor.
Gotcha.
So they already know that they're playing.
Again, I'm sorry, I'm talking production, half listening to you.
But yeah, that's the case. Like a lot of the teams are going, okay, we're at the minor, we can't do this anymore. That's why you have teams like Envy who didn't manage to qualify. Luminosity as well, I think, had some troubles, but...
Oh, wow. So a full different set of teams.
We got a team called MOP.
I'm confused how Onagio didn't get replaced as well then.
Yeah.
Since they forfeited their match.
Maybe they decided to actually have... Well, let's be honest. If they're not playing, Complexity would probably beat either of the other two teams anyway.
Know. You never know.
I'm going to gamble on that one and say I think they would, being the team that we expect to at least be in the final here. Although they have had some sort of struggles recently with the new team. We saw them play at ECS, and although they did get knocked out, they only lost to one team, and that was Vitality, who won the whole tournament. They lost to them in a best of 1 and in a best of 3. And then they beat MIBR, but we know that MIBR recently have been having some troubles of their own, and last night made a roster change, just coming in towards the major over the next couple of months. So
I'm going to load up the qualifiers over on Wikipedia and see if
you're going to have fun with that. Envy actually...
Well, I want to know if MOP is a team that played in this.
Well, they might have changed their name since then. That's the problem. Like, for example, is it Owinago? They
Onagio?
Either way, it's horrible. On Wikipedia, they're called Owinago. So there's now a letter missing here. Or that's actually what they're called, because I think HLTV have them listed as Onagio. So even between the two different sort of sites I use to get my news or my team stats, they have got different names. And I don't even think that was their name. They were called Chris and the Boys before then. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult to actually work out who some of these teams are. But as I was saying, I think it doesn't really matter because whoever would have played against Complexity, they probably would have beaten anyway. So put them up against each other, then give them a chance to... Well, again, I would probably look towards Lazarus as the team to get through there. So they might get to face off against Lazarus. It's some good experience. I still think the final is likely to be Complexity versus Lazarus, but I don't think it's going to be clear-cut. I think ATK or MV, whoever gets through, will give them a run for their money. But the thing that's really interesting for me about this qualifier is we're not seeing teams who are like set in stone. I think for Complexity, for example, this is going to be a good test, because we haven't really got to see too much from them since they've updated their roster. I think EA is a fantastic addition. Like, we saw a lot from him in this team in the past, and I think that he played... Or that actually, wait. That's,
he's on Lazarus.
That's now. Lazarus. Either way.
He was on Complexity.
No, it's Obo. That's what I was thinking of. He's been brought in.
But. Oh, yeah. Everyone's been talking about Obo as a real, sick player. And we've seen a lot of, new up-and-comers, like for instance, Brolin, 17 years old, do extremely well. And we've been hearing at ECS how well he's been able to play. But now coming into this qualifier, obviously a lot on the line as well. Can he continue that pace? You also have players like Som, for instance. Yeah. And I want to say me and Banks casted him one of the first times. I think he was filling in for Swole Patrol.
I think that was me and you.
Was it you and me? I try to block it out of my memory.
It was Dust 2.
It was a Dust 2, yeah. And he just went off completely. He completely shut down the entire server with how well he did. And then he went on to a different map. I can't remember the next map after. And that's when his performance started to lack a little bit, because obviously the differences between Dust 2 and other maps when it comes to pugging and being able to have that single star player stand out. I wonder if he's been able to work on that progress and, you know, continue learning and obviously growing as a player. I think Obo is going to be great to watch as well. I think there's actually a lot of potential, like, good players to see. Like, a lot of old school players I haven't seen in a long time. Seen some Shazam action, seen JDM back. Obviously have to wait a little bit for Shazam. But, you know, it's just, I feel like it could have some really good matches today. It'll be best of 3 the entire way through.
Well, the first one for me is going to be one of the most interesting ones, just because it's sort of like players who've switched places, basically. Like Sonic has left South Africa, or, well, I suppose the whole team already has, but he's left his South African team to join up with an NA team, and it's definitely an interesting move. He's been the star of that roster for quite a while, so I think if he was going to make a move, that was the only way he could go. There is not a better South African team that he could have joined. Obviously, we've had the whole move away from Bravado, the denial situation, which nobody really wants to talk about because that seemed to be just awful, whatever was going
paying
on.
Your players? I thought that's like standard.
Yeah. Well, we always get paid in exposure, so that's
Yeah, I do. I love going to the market and being like, yeah, can I pay for these groceries with my exposure? And they're like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't we?
We also take Monopoly money, and you can use your chips here as well. But I suppose most of the time chips normally have some sort of value, like betting chips.
Oh, okay.
Not like
you're British,
French
so I
fries.
talking about French fries. I'm like, why are you talking about French fries all of a sudden? But the funny thing is, you look over on HLTV and you look at that actual match, the ATK versus Envy game. It's great because you see 4 players in ATK with the red jersey. Then you see JDM in blue. Then you look at the other side, it's a complete inverse. You have 4 players in the Envy jersey, and then Sonic in the red jersey. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they're able to like read into the way the teams have been playing and like incorporate that specifically for this match, or if they're been able to meld well within their team. I mean, there's a lot of good players across both these rosters, but it's about who can perform today.
Well, yeah, I think the Envy one's actually the one that sort of interests me the most, because I think that...
Can we sit, by the way? Do we need to stand? Can we sit?
Well, at least it'll make things look a little bit more evened out. It won't look as small. There we go. Oh, look. Wow. I still look small.
You do?
Even still. I look a bit fatter as well. But let's just carry on.
More muscular is what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think that the roster definitely looks interesting. I think after Nifty moving away from the Renegades, we kind of expected a lot from him, but he spoke about, at the time, not wanting to AWP or in-game lead, which were his 2 strongest things. It's sort of like me going, I don't want to commentate, and then they go, well, you're not really good at much else. Whereas with him, he's still a decent rifler. I said good. I didn't say anything better than that. I'm okay. I'm average. But thanks for that, Jason. Really building up my self-esteem. I might have to stand back up, but even then that will lower my self-esteem even more because you'll probably still be taller than me. But yeah, it's like...
Can we try that?
He's definitely one of those people where I expect a lot from him. Like Nifty getting 50 is still going to be one of the things I remember. Like him just absolutely destroying teams, like the wallbangs they would come up with the AWP. And he also seemed like a pretty decent caller, especially when he had Kassab behind him. So I think there's potential there. Som obviously being 17 years old, I think... everybody talks about him again being one of the up-and-coming stars in NA. And then you have the sort of Sonic factor where, again, I'm not too sure. Like, I know he's a decent player, but a lot of the time he played more domestically. And when they got to the minor last time, they were pretty disappointing. So I don't know about him.
You were there for that one, right?
Yeah. And then you've got the likes of, say, Fugly, who was playing in NRG. I think he's a decent support player. I don't know if it's going to be Nifty calling again in this team. That's who I'd assume, but I don't know. Like, that's the thing. It's not listed anywhere. They've not really said, oh, yeah, like outright who this player is going to be. I also noticed that every single member of that team has their DMs locked, and none of them follow me, so I couldn't actually ask. I went to do that earlier. I was like, oh, I'll just ask who's calling. And I was like, I can't do it. Disappointed. But hopefully maybe someone in Twitch chat is going to be screaming at me going, it's clearly this person.
I feel so bad for you. Just that I could sense the sorrow in your voice.
Most people
have
have
their DMs blocked and none of them followed me, so I couldn't message them.
The following thing, I'm not that surprised. But who doesn't have why not have DMs open? Like, come on, guys. I know that you probably get a lot of hate from some awful fans. So that might be the reason why.
Could be. Yeah. Are your DMs open?
Yes.
So Twitch chat, you know what to do. Head over to his Twitter and spam him with pictures of whatever you desire, and or maybe some predictions of who you think's going to win this whole tournament.
Maybe not anything you desire, although I don't know. I don't think there's anything that anybody could send me that I would care. Like, I don't think there's anything that could scar me enough. I have awful friends, so they've already sent me far worse than anything you can match up with. So I will say that. I challenge you to try
See, I know what people could do to scar me, because obviously I'm from the States and I miss being in the States, is send me a video of you taking a nice Chipotle burrito and just throwing it on the ground and just destroying it. That would break me.
What about just eating it?
Well, at least I know someone's enjoying it. But, if you throw it on the ground, no one enjoys it.
What if they're eating it and they tell you they didn't enjoy it?
Then clearly they weren't eating Chipotle. And they don't deserve to ever grace their taste buds with some delicious
never had
burritos. Well, when was the last time you were in the States?
Never.
Yeah, well, there you go. You know what? Maybe we're making a prediction here. IEM Chicago, Tom Biz and Jason Kaplan, one of the casting duos for the tournament. You're hearing it here first. It has yet to be announced. Not happening, most likely.
No, it's not.
So maybe maybe we can talk about a couple of the other teams, though, because obviously Complexity. I'm really curious to see how they're going to do. Obviously, we talked about Obo, but Ricky, I remember he was having like visa issues back in the day, and he missed a lot of time practicing with the team. He's obviously since then got it all sorted out, and how it's going to work within the roster as well. Shazam, like his opping was phenomenal. Though the one thing that's always going to stand out was when he was on Cloud9 on Inferno and TK'd.
Xting B. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's ever going to forget that.
I'll never forget that, no. I don't think it's possible. And then the problem is, like, we can't really talk too much about, like, the two additional teams we saw there, MOP, because we actually don't know who they are. Like,
no.
We don't even know their name. Like, because it'd be great on Mastering Production if we can actually get their full roster name or the full team name for MOP. So maybe we can, like, look them up.
Mop.
Okay, but then you look at Lazarus, like Zelsis. I mean, I wonder if he's learned quite a bit on his time, his quick time on Cloud9. Ye as well, obviously X Complexity. He's been a player that's really enjoy watching. Swag as well, who's kind of like, well, I can't play really in the minors anyways, so might as well give this a go. I would like to see him more, get more of a solid team a little bit. And then Fraud, like the legendary Fraud from old Complexity back in the 1.6 days. Still leading the team. I know he's been here and there every once in a while. A lot of people, like Rambo as well. I think he was coaching NRG.
I thought that was Complexity as well, wasn't it?
Was he coaching Complexity? I know he did it for a little bit of time, and then he left. I know Warden, I think, is even...
Yeah, I think he's now.
Yeah, he's coaching Complexity. So a lot of like old school players try to bring in like the old school tactics and the knowledge to the teams. Masters of Pain is the team for MOP. It's
a bit like sadistic.
Let me
we are the
Google
Masters
of Pain.
I would not Google Master. Please add CS:GO
HLTV.
At the end. Okay, there you go. Otherwise, I feel like you're going to end up on the dark web if you end up with Masters of Pain.
It's actually Masters of Panic.
Okay,
so
that's okay. That's
it does make sense that a German was telling me Masters of Pain.
Okay.
Here we go. So, okay, for Riot Squad. There we go. Now we have a HLTV put a little page up. So who's on their team? So we have Steel. Also Steel. Okay, so Steel, Monty, GMD, Typhoon, and Hiko for Masters of Panic. So it's basically
I'll watch that team.
Yeah. Oh, Riot Squad. There you go. We got PTR. I always loved watching him. You got Dapper. You've got Crashies, Mitch, and Shinobi for Riot Squad. So that'd be an interesting game. I love me some PTR. Haven't seen Peter in a long time.
Yeah, no, these rosters actually seem quite interesting. Like, I always like watching Hiko. I don't think there's many people who don't like watching Hiko. And I think with Steel in there as well, with a bit more of a mix. Obviously, it's a shame that we don't have Ghost, because I do still... Obviously, they've lost like the majority of their team now, or they just didn't renew any of their contracts. But I actually quite liked watching that team. Yeah, I know. I went to look at the screen. You're just a giant, and I'm a little bit small, so...
It's okay. We'll put you on my shoulders, and we'll be the tallest caster duo in the world.
But what if someone who's just got like two medium height people? It would be almost the same.
You don't want things to succeed. Okay, so then to update you, we got Masters of Panic up against Riot Squad. We've got ATK versus Team Envy, and then the other two... Or sorry, no. There's actually 3 being played out, 3 quarterfinals, and the Complexity versus Onagio or Owinigo, or whatever the name correctly is spelled, because it's obviously different between a couple different resources. That match is not happening since they are going to forfeit and Complexity move straight through. So then we have Complexity against the winner of this match, and then we have New Identity versus Lazarus. The winner of that plays against Riot Squad or Masters of Panic. And I actually don't know who's going to win between Riot Squad and Masters of Panic. I want to say I'm favoring MOP because like I find it hard to go against Steel and Hiko. But I mean, Peter, when he pops off hard.
I feel like that's almost an even game. Like I don't see anybody particularly in the advantage, especially because they're both seem to be two teams that have been thrown together. I don't know. Can we have a look of Riot Squad? Okay, it looks like they've played 2 matches, and is it even the same? Is it the same team? Okay, it seems like it is the same team. So that's at least. Although, they've at least played a match or 2, and they lost, but they were close games versus ATK. So there's some potential there at least. Dapper going off. And then the other match they play versus Lazarus. Well, they had a very close game on Overpass, and I don't really want to talk about Nuke because they got 16-1. So
it happens.
It's one again. It's the sort of mixed team meta where, especially playing a map like Nuke, I think is going to be problematic for them. But I'm going to guess that Masters of Panic. Yeah, have never played a match. So that's just going to be some puggy affair, but it could be interesting. I'm kind of glad that we're going to be sticking with the MV versus ATK game because that looks a little bit more interesting.
Just was informed we're not switching games. Obviously, I know you guys in Twitch chat are a little bit frustrated. We have not started the game. It's not on us. It's not like we're sitting here waiting like, no, we want more time on air.
I really want to talk about teams who've just been created about 5 minutes ago.
Exactly. Obviously, we have to wait for the teams, and at the moment, we are still waiting for one team. But I believe we're going to be heading to...
Which team?
I don't want to call them out.
Do it.
Should I? Well, the team we are waiting for is actually we're heading to a short break. So when we come back, we'll be kicking off our first match where Envy hopefully joins the server, and they'll be up against... Well, you know what? Hopefully they join the server because we want to see that obviously up against ATK. We'll see you guys soon.
Pitch
Welcome everyone to the Intel Extreme Masters Chicago North American Closed Qualifiers. Winner of this entire tournament will go through to the main event coming up in really not that long amount of time, as we do have our first match underway. ATK up against Envy, and Envy are pushing up towards Long A immediately off the bat, catching out JT as well as JDM. Fade's able to get one back for himself, but the bomb should be planted here in a few seconds.
And a bit of a tough retake here already with the man disadvantage. Black Poison trying to get some jumping shots. How is Fade alive? He stands in the open for ages, but will eventually go down. They do still have a kit available to them, but really need somebody to find a pick back before they're going to be able to get anything done. Such a long rotation from Black Poison, and even still, I imagine it's going to get checked. Android, ooh, he has the timing right, but oh, they're going to see him. A pixel was spotted. The last man just hiding in the corner. It is Som, and he's bought some time. I wonder if that's actually enough.
He's got the kit.
I don't know. It's going to be incredibly close, though. I think he's just got it. Yeah.
I am amazed to see that flank work out for them.
Well, that first shot the Black Poison hit was absolutely disgusting because he was looking the wrong way. Android hits the timing, and then even still, and Nifty with the double opener is definitely going to help them out. And while he's straight in with an AK-47, he's definitely the person I'm most excited about in this server. I've always enjoyed watching him play. I've heard a lot about Son. I've also seen a lot from JDM in the past, but I think him having that long break definitely took its toll.
Well, I'm most excited about Som, just because the last time we saw him, what he did and how amazing he was, at least on this map in particular, though I want to see if he's going to be able to transition that, obviously, into the next map. So we have Dust 2, Vertigo second, chosen by Envy.
Which is weird.
Well, yeah, anytime Vertigo is being chosen, it's going to be awkward.
But they've never played it officially.
Well, maybe this is their time to shine.
Maybe it is.
Maybe
or maybe they're one of those
magic
teams where they're like, yeah, no, we practiced this. It seems to be going well in scrims, and then they get banged when they actually try and play it an official. That has happened multiple times. Nice start to the round. Black Poison is going to open things up.
There's such a croissant half empty of chocolate, you know? Glass half full,
what?
glass half empty.
I get what you're good at, but like...
Because you were just eating one?
It was a pan au chocolat, not a croissant. They're completely different
Schokobrochen is what it was.
No, it's not.
That is exactly what it was called when you bought it at the store.
I didn't even read what it was called.
Schokobrochen.
I just put them in the bag, hand them to the bloke, and he goes, money, please. And I'm like,
I think he looked you up and down. He's like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I literally bought orange juice, some unnamed crisps.
Thank you. I was hoping you would do that. I wasn't sure if you were going to. What was that laugh? What are you doing?
It's my laugh.
It is. And it's your laugh. You should be proud of it.
I am. We have the buy back in. A few fami on the side of ATK.
Do you feel good about that?
I really hate the sound of famises. It just doesn't. I don't like it. So fami sounds better.
Does it though?
Not really, but I've got a question for you though.
Okay, I have an answer.
If the multiple of goose is geese, is the multiple of Zeus Zeus?
No. But what is it though? Is it Zeus's?
Zeus's? I don't know. I think
Zeus
sounds better.
Zeus? Really? Does it? Do you feel good about that?
No.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, Envy do have a buy up here. As you can see, Nifty just on the Deagle, AK, 2 SGs as well. Android's already been dropped, but they've been able to trade with JT at least. So advantage should be going to the T set. However, Dumpster potentially going to push towards Long A to spot them that they're currently not there. But the push is going to be coming in. It's going to be all on Black Poison. He's going to be flashed down. He has no chance to get a single shot off. And Envy will get the B site.
Yeah, nice entry in from them. And
has to be a save, right? Has to be a save.
I think this just has to be the remaining players holding onto their weaponry. Even if they aren't the best, it is still something to keep into the next round. And we've got 3 SGs put up. Maybe trying to take a little bit out of a Liege book of play. He has been fantastic with that as of recent. Chris J as well was an utter tank with the SG. So
automatic. What we saw with the scout, like the work he was doing in the liquid match we casted. I can't remember who they're playing against now off the top of my head.
Yeah, no. I was talking about the SG,
I know.
The SSG.
Different guns. Yeah, it is different guns.
Yeah, no surprise to see JDM picking up the scout. I'm hoping we'll get some AWP magic out from him in this match, because he is one of those players that when he plays his best Counter-Strike, he is absolutely magnificent to watch. It just doesn't seem to happen very often anymore.
Well, I remember, I can't I think is I can't remember the exact stat, but one thing JDM struggled with was playing when he did not have the AWP.
Yeah.
Because he had
and
like
with his chair upright, that doesn't work.
Well, yeah,
either.
I mean that I can understand, but I mean he had a massive amount of kills with the AWP, and like his second best weapon was like the P250, and then the AK was like a fifth of his kills on the op and like half on the P250. It was really rough for him. That's a nice opener out of Sonic, taking out JDM. Speaking of him.
Yeah, Nifty did get tagged in return, and we can see that Fady looking for a little bit of aggression. So I'm waiting patiently, and that'll be a second. The aggression so far not working out. The nades, however, will. As Fugly is going to be left low, but it's these SGs doing all of the work. Sonic against his old team. Already managing to find a couple. And that's one of the other exciting things about this matchup is that they are sort of switching players within the roster. Obviously, JDM is more of a standard. I don't know who any sort of permanent player will be. They've had some games with 10s as well, but it doesn't seem like ATK really have a permanent fixture within this roster as of yet. So I'm looking to try and remove this final weapon. There's not really any money left in the bank accounts of this CT side. A little bit on JDM, but I imagine that will just be saved, and Sonic, he'll get his triple. MV get the 2-2. And, well, even still, like we haven't seen too much from this MV roster. I think that's going to be one of the things we have to focus on, is there really haven't been that many games out of this team, and the ones that we have seen haven't been particularly good. Like, their win percentage on this map, they've won once out of 3 times, and on the other side of things, ATK, this is pretty much their best map. So if we are going to see this taken away, obviously they have had recent roster changes and lost their best player, so it is going to be a bit different than what we'd expect from the stats, but here we go. Aggression out from the CT side, hoping to try and steal some weapons away, but Sonic just looking to pad those stats already, getting a couple and nothing achieved by the side of ATK.
I think it's hard to have like really seen much recently from this team, just due to the fact of what all has been happening. I mean, you've had so many tournaments back to back. Well, you had Sydney, then you had ECS, you had EPL. You have now Chicago basically like 2 weeks away or 3 weeks away, like, and then Cologne coming up next weekend. Like, there's just been so many tournaments happening, and it's been hard to really even have an opportunity to show what you can do. Poison's gonna be flashed up as they're gonna have a double up setup here for ATK. Him and JDM. Of course, you expect JDM to be using his, which he's gonna be back towards car, watching in towards short. Looks like Envy's gonna be going for a play here, as they do have the smokes to set this up. The smoke going to come in out of JT to at least hold them off for now. 1:20 left to go. And JDM's even rotating potentially over towards CT mid. So the go time for the push towards A could be perfect, though, I would imagine. Sorry, it wasn't JDM, it was JT rotating. I would imagine, though, ATK is going to let them take control of A and play for the retake if that commit does come in.
Yeah, they're going to be very reliant on JDM, but a lot of the time you'll see the smoke thrown close, which will isolate JT. And then if they have the correct flashbangs, they can pretty much just jump straight down into it, and then JDM's going to be in a lot of trouble. He does manage to avoid the flash, but this is where that second player comes through. However, the timing from JT is absolutely perfect to deny anything more from Envy. They will at least get towards the site, but he's doing work from below. Gives them a 2-man advantage, and it has to be, well, I was going to say onto Sonic and Fugly. I think even Fady didn't realize that everybody was dead. He was still focused in on the site, but they get that retake off well, and actually, a lot of that just came from the aggression of JT. He had to hit that timing through the smoke perfectly, and he does.
And he saved JDM's life, which he in turn gave him another frag from along A. Really well done from the defender's side of ATK. 2 for JDM, 2 for JT. More importantly, it's JDM's first 2 kills here of the half, and of the match, more importantly.
With an AWP, of course.
But it's not like it's going to affect the money too much out of Envy. Look what they still have left to buy, about 6K for every player. They have the AWP and the SGs, even an AK mixed in there as well. Sonic getting so close to clipping someone, and look at this little boost coming through. He might actually get a shot, because we saw Sonic drop into suicide.
Yeah, interesting to see Sonic actually AWPing within this roster. I'd still want to see Nifty doing it. Maybe we'll get it onto the CT side, but either way, JDM still looking to be a little bit aggressive here, try and take those fights. Dom's still going to be pushing all the way through. He's got to be very careful here about going any further, but he actually catches Android off, and although there's a trade back, it's still going to make things a little bit more dicey for this T side and their push.
It's a pretty big trade, though, at least, taking down JDM. Take the op out of his hands. Problem is, you still have Black Poison there. He's going to win the trade up against Sonic. So it's going to be a 3-on-4 in favor of ATK. A little bit of a 2-2 split, though. Fady's going to be maintaining control of this long A position.
40 seconds left on the clock for the T's to try and make some sort of move. Nifty's already going to be spotted. He's the man with the bomb as well, so that's a lot of information gathered by the South African squad, and Fugly still trying to probe in towards short. The thing is, going through long here is actually going to be quite risky. Fady just about to peek into the angle, gets wrecked by Nifty though, and now it's all on to JT. 20 seconds left on the clock. He's the only man actually on this site. Fugly gonna make his push forward, and again, just gets domed, and Black Poison hoping for a miracle through that smoke. But the bomb is gonna make its cross, and Envy made a very difficult position into now an advantage. Oh, he hits that! He hits the shot, but he isn't gonna get the kill. That's some bad luck, and Fugly and Nifty will close things out. There's a slight moment there where it looks like he might actually be able to steal a kill or two.
A 2v3, though. I mean, sending the op in from CT, then sending the last player in towards short. I'm kind of surprised to see them go for it. I was expecting actually a save once that bomb got down, and I mean, now you don't really have the ability to buy up much. That op can always do wonders. We've seen JDM be able to pull off some fantastic plays in the past with it. And so they commit it, and unfortunately they lose it. So Envy now up 4-3. Nifty trying to make potentially a quick play towards short, however. You see where the stack currently is, and if you're Envy, don't want to be losing any of these weapons. Flashbang comes through, actually blinds JDM as he wanted to make the charge through into Nifty. Nifty gets one, he gets two as well. I don't think with the Molotov going down, the two players from Catwalk are going to be able to push in from this.
Dink hit, but through the door, so Som is going to be surviving, and Nifty's just padding those stats, a chance for the ace. Domster, the only man standing in his way, and wow, there you go. Eco ace for Nifty. 5 kills, and 5-3 in favor of their side.
I believe that was his Molotov he actually threw towards short. So when the flashbang came through to make the 2-2 push from short and from middle, he actually blocked off the two players up towards Catwalk, and it allowed him a 1v2 up against JDM. And the second player came in through the doorway. So I don't know if that was intentional out of him, but it sure as hell worked out for him. Like I said, the Eco ace coming through, 11 kills for Nifty. Currently leading his team. Black Poison get an opportunity yet again in middle. This is the second time that him and Sonic have gone to head-to-head, and I want to hope it's not the second time that Sonic hasn't been expecting him there.
Fugly is going to get hit up. Sonic going to try and get a bit more aggressive around the edge of this one. He has been very aggressive so far, running down Suicide in a lot of the rounds, maybe just overconfident, you could say, versus his old roster.
It's like, bro, stop. Leave me alone. Why is he only tagging me?
7 HP is all that's left, and we are going to see that AWP juggled back over to Fugly just to give him a chance, but knowing his luck, he's probably going to get dunked by a nade or just something horrible where he doesn't even get to see an opponent in this round.
He's going to get collateraled, I bet.
Fady, good position, has JDM to support, so they can't really overface versus him here. In fact, he gets the second, and now there's two players incredibly low on that MV side of things. JDM will be able to shut one down, but he's got to be careful of Nifty, looking to try and pressure from short, but JDM will get that kill, and a miss shot from Fugly now leaves JDM with a chance to clean things up. He misses the shot, though. It's going to be the Glock to close him down.
He's got time.
Not a whole lot of it, though.
He just had the opportunity to rotate, but again, the HP is going to be very lacking. If he's some... Oh, did you see him? I think he saw him. And Fugly immediately returning back over, and he's actually going to fake this out. Okay, he's going to say it. Never mind. I was going to say, if he runs back to A and he gets the bomb down, that'd be an amazing situation. But, I mean, they have a ton of money left. But again, I think more importantly, potentially denying the double op setup for ATK, because we did have JDM with an op over towards long A, but no one's there to pick it up. And with him not going towards B and potentially dying, he doesn't give up the double op setup to their side, which obviously will limit them in strength, and they don't really have the money to do so. And look what they have in terms of money to buy, actually. Not much. They're going to be lacking in utility.
Yeah, the way these rounds have been going has not been the best for the CT side, with sort of one-and-done situations, none being strung together, which is normally the way you dominate a map like Dust 2 is just string rounds together, like get that momentum built up and get rolling, which is what Envy seem to have done quite well once the buy rounds have actually come in.
See Nifty looking at where was that smoke thrown? Who threw that one? That clearly didn't land right.
And it does mean the initial challenge for Long has actually turned into more short aggression actually from ATK. So they're going to look to try and at least section off one portion of the map. And it does help them significantly when it comes to actually taking or retaking the site. Although this sort of peak from Fady, I just don't see the benefit. If he's caught, if he goes down, okay, that's information, but it's a lot more problematic. Instead, he's going to try and get his utility down to help JDM push into position. The AWP there, and he hits the shot onto Sonic already, but he is going to get pressured. And Nifty again, he's been so good at getting these openers onto the A site. They're actually going to force them back. Boost will come in, but it doesn't matter. Fugly hits the man jumping up. However, Fady, he's found two back. He's made this possible. And Android's still in middle. It means that Nifty has to try and hold on to this site on his own, although I don't think he'd want anyone else in this situation at the moment. 14-4. Android now comes into support. Nifty's just going to do it on his own. Another kill to this man's name. Maybe he doesn't need the AWP. 4 kills. This time it's not an eco round. And he just destroys this A site.
Not bad stuff there out of him. Even though Android was spotted in middle, it at least let Nifty know, hey, they can only come from one angle. Don't have to worry about short. Lines him up, knocks him down, and gets his 16th frag on the board. Only 10 rounds in as we now approach round 11. Nifty and 50. You think Nifty 50 can come back again?
No.
Well, not with that attitude.
I think if he carries this on, I don't think it goes anywhere near overtime. That's the problem. He's going to be caught this time, though. And actually, a second kill coming in for JDM means that a weapon will be dropped. They're actually going to pick up two, so they're not in that bad a spot here. However, we are going to see the full rotation in towards this B site, and a retake on B without a kit or utility is going to be troublesome. They will actually get there first, though. JT now in position. Black Poison. He's the one with the rifle. They could actually steal this round away. Sonic, he's got an AWP, so he can't really be the one facing. Instead, Fugly's going to be the one to make the push. He finds one. The second actually goes the way of Sonic. And Fady does not have a gun to play with, so he's just got to try and do something sneaky. He does manage to find one, but the reload, I think, gave him away. I think they know that he's around this area now. Peeks in at the right time, but Fugly is there to save his teammate and save the round.
That was still a way closer round than they expected. I think they got a lot more than they expected as well in that round, considering picking up 3 kills and unfortunately able to save the weapons. But either way, applying the pressure to Envious, but they still have so much money left to work with, so it's not really that big of a deal in the end. Sonic looking for the shot on cross, and he won't be lucky this time. But Black Poison not with an op anymore. They've actually given it over to JDM to be over towards that B side, actually. So they're allowing JDM to play more of a freer style, which is kind of surprising considering Envy really haven't gone B that much in general. The only times they've gone was the last round after losing 2 players off the bat. I think like 1 round before that. So a big commitment, and it actually might work to pay off for him because he's still set up here, and it looks like Envy might be going for that mid to B push.
JT's the one that has to be careful, though. They've had a couple of pushes now over to Long that have just been completely unsuccessful. Now, he's just going to wait patiently. And the man on the other side is the one holding the bomb. So if Som goes down here, they have the bomb control. However, they might not have too many members left. It's all going to be about timing. Som's still waiting patiently. Wonder if Fady actually heard the footsteps. He does, and he does drop the bomb. The problem is he's only got 13 HP. So defending it's going to be a little bit more difficult than... But
Does Nifty like just not get headshots?
That's like 3 or 4 times now where I swear to God he has not stopped running as he's gone around the corner. He just keeps the W key going and just one taps. It's been filth from him, but as I said, he's the player I'm most looking forward to watching in this server, and we're starting to see the reason why. He's had a disgusting performance so far, and well, really they should just be saving here. 1 smoke, no kit, a flashbang on JDM. Unless somebody makes a significant mistake, I don't think there's any way they get back into this round, and even the clock should be enough. And now they know he's in pit, unless they really want to hunt down this weapon. shouldn't really make much of a difference. They are actually still pushing this. The clock's ticked quite far, and there's some decent afterplant positions here. Sonic even going to catch Domster while jumping, and yeah, Nifty's already wrapped around. Another headshot to his name. 8-4. Envy starting to really build up momentum here, and we're waiting to see whether or not ATK can actually win rounds back-to-back, excluding, obviously, the pistol.
Just to give you guys a quick little update of the other matches that are currently happening. Masters of Panic up against Riot Squad on Overpass. Currently, Riot Squad are winning 6-1. We have Lazarus up against New Identity on Dust 2, where Lazarus is up 4-2. So just a quick little overview of what's happening all around the world here in CS for these qualifiers. Looks like a big stack coming out of ATK towards the A site. Looks like they have gambled correctly, however. Not really any weapons to use on their side, just a couple of P250s, a 5.7 mixed in there. And no need for Envy to be any sort of aggressive at the moment.
Yeah, I feel quite bad actually for the guys at ATK, because they've had a lot of sort of gamble rounds, like in the last with heavy B presence, but it just seems to be that they're losing so many opening duels just by not getting the gamble correct, which a lot of the time on this map is something you have to do, but it's also luck-based. Like, you have to try and mind game your opponent and work out where they're going to go. This time, they got it spot on. They've got everybody in the right position, and they're going to do a fair bit of damage once again, but it's a pistol round. These are not the rounds where you're likely to win, even if you do get things correct. Maybe if you're all on B and everybody goes B, then yeah, there's a chance you can steal that round away, but when it's long, the chances are they'll just be able to trade effectively.
I mean, they still got a couple of good kills, but nothing to really harm the economy out of